Hello and welcome back, students. This is Dr. Dustin Brunball with a quick overview of our syllabus and our Moodle site for our spring 2017 class in EDA 606, School, Climate, and Culture. I hope everyone's doing well. Uh, like I said, going over the Moodle site and the syllabus here. Hopefully this quick overview will provide you plenty of information so you have a good grasp on of everything that'll be for the entire course. So textbook needed. I sent this out a couple times in an email. It's pretty I'll say pretty cheap on Amazon if you'd like to buy it there. It's a short read, a quick read. All right. Excuse me. So let's begin by going over the course syllabus. Once again, my name, phone number, email address. I believe most of you know by now. I check my Georgetown email quite regularly. I do expect you all to do that. I got the vibe last semester that quite a few of you checked your Georgetown email pretty regularly, but I need you to do that at least 2 or 3 times a week. All right, framework, course description. Once again, there's the textbook stuff. Live text. There will be 2 documents in this course that will need to be submitted into live text. I'll go over this here in a minute, but basically that's going to be your anchor assessment. That's due at the end of the course, and then the 5 to 10 hours that you put in out in classrooms or in buildings and stuff like that. That I'll also talk about here in a minute. Just like the last class that we had together, will need to be submitted into live text by the end of the course as well. Just like I said, the field work to complete this project should take about 5 or 10 hours to complete. So I think you should be able to spend 5 to 10 hours either doing some research or talking to people about your anchor assessment. I'll talk about in a little bit. Whoever you work with or whatever you're doing, just document that. If you worked with somebody, get them to sign off on the form. You should be in good shape. The course objectives, there are quite a few of them. Basically, just help me develop the different weeks for the different course, but they are in this, obviously here in the syllabus. All right, curriculum, teaching and writing, everything's going to be in APA format. All right, the course outline for the 7 weeks in the course, what content we'll be talking about, what we'll actually be doing, and then the assignment that's due. How will you be evaluated? Similar to the last course, there's 3 reflective papers, 3 of them, each of them are 25 points each. We have traditional discussion boards, forums, whatever you want to call them, 5 of them, 10 points each for 50 points total. And then the last thing is the anchor assessment number 5, which is 75 points. It's described here. I'll go over it in more detail in a document that I developed, and I'll show you here in just a little bit. But anchor assessment number 5 is worth 75 points. Here's some details about it, and then here's the rubric on how you will be scored. So it's a short rubric, but definitely you want to make sure that the acceptable part that you do everything over here on the left hand side to make sure and include those in there so that you obviously score well. I'm sorry, here's one more part as well. So the 4 parts here for the rubric, make sure you include those. There'll be some specifics that I do ask you to complete. I'll show you that form here in a minute to make sure you do well on the anchor assessment. Obviously, if you don't do well on the anchor assessment, unfortunately, you would not be able to pass the class. All right, here's the grading scale. As I just described, 3 reflective papers, 25 points each for 75 points total. The discussion board and forums, 10 points each. There are 5 of them worth 50 points. And then anchor assessment number 5 is worth 75 points. So there are 200 points total. That pretty much covers the syllabus. Similar to the last course we had together, I got some good feedback. Everybody seemed to like the class assignment due dates. So I put everything when it's due, the forums, the papers, and all that. As you can tell, everything for the most part is due on Sundays. The only exception with that is the course evaluation, but I can work with you on that one. But most of the stuff due on Sundays, but I'll send my reminders out through the Georgetown email like I have in the past. But there's a good document besides the syllabus that kind of tells you when everything is due. Talked about the field experience hours, 5 to 10 hours. Use this form right here. I suggest just print it out, handwriting in when you did it, what you did, and if you worked with somebody in your building, whether it be administrator or someone else that you worked with at all, just have them sign off. Some of this might just be you signing off on it, just giving your word that you did do that, whether it be reviewing some data of the school building, talking to any principals, counselors, other people outside, people that you excuse me, collaborated with out in your district, in your building, finding out information. But 5 to 10 hours, once that's done into the course, upload that to the live text. On the very first day of our class, Monday, January 9th, if you would answer these two questions in the form, and that just kind of basically, you're getting credit, so to speak, no points, but it's just a Georgetown policy that everyone log in, go into Moodle, and actually take some sort of action. So it shouldn't take you but a couple minutes. And then I do want to note that I want to make sure and emphasize that everyone needs to be checking their Georgetown email 2 or 3 times a week. Like I said, I send out some reminders, information. Somebody might ask a good question. I think, hey, that might be something that everyone needs to know. I'll send that out in an email, but definitely check your Georgetown email a couple times a week, please. All right, so week 1, the objectives that we're covering. You do have a discussion board here. So discussion boards, you need to, based on the topic for that week. So each week I divide it into, and these chapters in the book are really short. Some of them are only 2 or 3 pages, but 3 sections in your book, our course book, it happens in the hallways. Read those, watch this video, and then do some reflecting on the videos and the book. And then what can you do to make every student bump? Obviously, if you read those couple sections in our book, that bump will definitely be something that is talked about in there. But make your substantial posts of 250 words or more, and then 3 meaningful posts besides your original post, so 4 total each week. So that's week 1. Week 2, you also have a discussion board with some sections of our book and a video, and then you do have a paper. The paper here, right here's the directions for your paper. This is the rubric that I'll use to score your paper. Here's the article that you will read and just upload it here no later than January 22nd. So that's paper number 1. Week 3, another discussion forum. Here are the sections. Yes, here's the video for week 3. That's all that's for week 3. Week 4, likewise, forum. There's no video this week, but there is a paper. So here's the directions for the paper, the rubric that I will use to grade your paper. Here's the article that you need to read, and then upload it here. Week 5 is your last discussion board. Here are the sections. There is a video to watch. Do some reflecting. What can you do to create a culture that values diversity? So talk about all those things in your 4 posts. 1's your original post. 3, some quality feedback or quality posts replying to some of your peers. And then week 6 is your last paper. Once again, directions about the paper, the rubric that I will use to grade your paper. Here's the article, and here's where you upload it. And then lastly, week 7, I already talked about the field experience. I put that in there as a reminder again to, if you hadn't done it already, complete that, upload it to live text. Just like last time for our course, if you complete the course evaluation, print out this form here and fully complete that after you're done. As long as you do it by February the 28th, I believe, upload that and I'll give you 5 bonus points. And then the last thing is our anchor assessment. Once again, under week 7, it's due February the 26th. Here's where I went into detail. Obviously, the rubric's at the bottom of this, but so for your anchor assessment, put a title page that's by itself. Go on to the next page, and then in an introduction, a short, informative, powerful description. It should be a paragraph, 3 or 4 sentences at most, just talking about, give me a little introduction and overview about what you're doing and why you're doing it. The next part of it don't have to be another page, just another section after the introduction. Do a literature review, should be a minimum of 1 page. Do a complete literature review of literature describing the findings of what the literature says about culture and climate in schools. Make sure that you give credit, that you correctly cite all sources. Give people the that had the thought, cite where you found it correctly, but so be at least a full page. That shouldn't be hard to do. I think if when I did my thesis, I think my review literature was probably 20 pages or more. So doing one page, I think it'd be easy to do 2 or 3 pages on culture and climate, but make sure they're good sources. All right, so collect data. Describe in detail how the data and information about culture and climate was collected to determine the culture and climate and which groups participated. So you can either find something that's already out there that would be a good way to get some information to put your finger on the pulse of the culture and climate inside your building. If there's one that's already been done, Tell Survey or others that are out there. I know there's another one it's slipping my mind. I can't think of it off the top of my head that you do on alternating years of the Tell Survey. If it's already being done, you can use that, but obviously describe it, describe what's in it, describe who participated in it, and go from there. But so basically, that next section should be called, headed up as collection of data, describe in detail, how it was collected, what it says, and all that. I'm sorry, excuse me, not what it says, but how it was collected, who participated in it. The next section is data analysis. This is where you describe in detail what the actual data says. The next section is recommendation for maintaining or developing a positive school culture. It includes technology. So basically, based on that information that you find from the data that was collected about culture and climate, what can be done to improve culture and climate, and then really hone on something specific. A couple of them would be fine, but it was a requirement of the course, not my requirement, but a requirement of the course that do include something that can be changed in a positive way based on the data that you have on technology use. So based on the data, identify an area that has a need for positive change for something that you have some sort of control over. Now, some things are out of our control, and there's nothing that we can do about them, about it. So make sure you pick something that you have control over, that you can put, into motion some positive change in your building. And a couple of them, what's your recommendation for doing that, either maintaining or developing a positive culture? But one of them needs to be something related to technology. The next section should be collaboration. Describe who you collaborated, how you collaborated with, the process used for various groups to collect data, analyze data, and identify areas of concern and develop an action plan. Did you talk to some others about, did you do some walkthrough, discussing some people within your department or in your building on, what's your take? Here's what the data says. What do you think would be something that we have control over to change? So describe who you talked to. Describe also in detail, kind of back up here of, who was involved in the data collecting. So basically, anything you can think of in collaboration, whether getting feedback orally in person or the information that you viewed or feedback that you solicited on, okay, here's the information, you look through the info and what do you think about that? So any collaboration that you do, describe that in detail. All right, the action plan based on your stated recommendation, describe in detail a plan of action that will help improve the school culture. So, now be very specific. Now that here's your recommendation for the plan, here, maybe you had 3 areas or 3 recommendations for ways to make improvements, then go into detail on each one of those, specifically your course of action to improve each one of those. And the last 2 things are conclusion. So it's kind of opposite of the intro. Here's your exit of the paper, conclusion. Should be a paragraph at minimum. Just reflect on the process. Reflect on what you think the good and the bad of this that occurred. And then lastly, the last one should be a completely separate page of your reference page. So anything that you reference earlier in here sometime throughout, especially in your lit review, this down here should be the actual sources of those, and there should be at least a few of them. Just as a reminder, this anchor assessment everything should be in 12 font, double spaced, APA times Roman numeral, times New Roman font. Go through all that. I'll take any questions that you have. Obviously, here is Here's the rubric that the Georgetown's using for this specific one. But obviously, I'm going to be looking for making sure that you included all sections, headed it correctly, fonts, headings you cited correctly, good grammar, things like that. Don't overthink it. But I am told that you're going to be using this for anchor assessment number 8. It's at the bottom of the syllabus. So basically, you're going to be taking a few of these anchor assessments, putting them all together, and doing a big one for anchor assessment number 8, and of course a couple courses from now that you'll be taking in a class in the future. But like I said, hopefully you know by now, I'll do anything I can for you to help this be a good experience for you in our course. But one last reminder, I just want to state that make sure you follow the syllabus, make sure things are done on time. I tried to learn from the last class that we had on being a little more specific to make everything crystal clear for everyone on the expectations of the course. But definitely reach out to me at my Georgetown email. I check it multiple times a day. And then definitely I ask you politely to check your email 2 or 3 times a class. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Otherwise, good luck to all of you. Thank you.